just want to talk about this show. This is Hennessey Youngman in a space where it was curated by Marilyn Minter. Hennessey Youngman is like the artist, really, who's using all of these. It's like an open call. People left their work all weekend, and he organized their work very, very carefully, according to the politics and the. It's very. I guess in order to make a statement, he rejected certain ideas and he accepted certain ideas based upon the art politicking, and I'm not sure how he even got his foot in the door to begin with, other than the fact is he must be very, very sharp. But this is through also a space called Family Business, which is on the same block as Gagosian, and it's sort of next to Anna Kustera Gallery, but it's owned by Mauricio Cattalan, who had that huge show at the Guggenheim Museum where he hung the horses and the objects that were, very humorous, and from strings from the ceiling of the Guggenheim, and then Massimiliano Gioni, who I'm not sure who he is actually, and I know that Cattalan is with Marion Goodman Gallery. I'm really unfamiliar with Hennessey Youngman. So anyway, when you went into the show, the show is called "It's a Small, Small World," and I guess they limited it to 2 pieces each, but basically it's 125 square feet, and he, as the sculptor artist, was very careful to keep it in kind of, I guess, non-threatening toward Marilyn Minter and toward Anna Kustera. So my pinups, which were oversized pinups, one of them is showing, but you can't even tell what it is. It looks totally abstract. And so obviously my choice was a behind-the-scenes choice to appeal to Mauricio Cattalan and Hennessey Youngman, but rather not specifically to be participating in such a small space with hundreds of artists. But this is what I consider, a team effort, and it's an important show, and everyone gets to see my work anyway online who I'm friends with, and basically it's a learning experience, because it's very similar to this whole thing that was going on with the Celebrity Apprentice, with Donald Trump's show on television, with Arsenio Hall, really confronting Aubrey O'Day because she was too aggressive and she was completely out of line when it came to her teamwork. She just wasn't good at teamwork. So it's really important to be careful about teamwork, and in order to make steps forward in terms of what's going on. So in this case, if you have huge, giant black and white pinups of the most beautiful women in the world, and you have artists like Marilyn Minter, who are actually the ones who are, serving the beer and sticking all the Budweisers in the ice cubes, and then you've got absentee Anna Kustera, but you've got Hennessey Youngman with his beautiful black girlfriend, and I'm not sure, whether putting gigantic pinups in a 125-foot space wouldn't be intimidating to someone like Marilyn Minter, and might not end up causing Hennessey Youngman to kind of have a beginning and an end real quick, and or be a flash in the pan, and that's not his plan. His plan is to make forward progress and steps forward, and I guess for the way you do that is kind of by not putting up beautiful sort of intimidating women's paintings, and because what that does is it kind of puts all of the spotlight on Marilyn Minter, who's like seriously not a great beauty, and is kind of a oversized, aging, matronly, kind-hearted Puritan who does these very sensual, photographs, but kind of is counting on being behind the scenes as an artist. This may not be the case anymore. Like now with people like Hennessey Youngman, someone like Hennessey Youngman may change the rules of the game so that everybody's got to actually come out of the closet and show themselves. And showing yourself is really great, but people don't just show themselves, for example, for 10 years. Once you start showing yourself, you got to be willing to show yourself for your whole life. And you may not be, the most adorable, kid on the block for your whole life. You may age badly, or you may be a beautiful muse when you're, in your 20s and 30s, and then suddenly turn into kind of a really awful, stone-faced looking, farmer or something, So these are really important issues when you're in the art world, because as we all know, the art world is a place which is different from the establishment, and that is because the artist is in the mix. So, when the artist is in the mix, that means that, that's not just the artist in the mix behind the scenes running to the bank, it's also the artist in the mix, actually showing themselves and who they are. Because there's a huge, big, wide world out there of, all kinds of Indians and all kinds of people that are not, like special or middle class or whatever you want to call it. And if you do your math and you really think about it, you have to get your scholarship, your financial aid, in the art world based upon how fearless you are and how public you are. This is what's going on. And this show here, it's his Brucennial or his whatever triennial. It's not such a bad show. It's got lots of stuff sort of mashed in, as he calls it, a clusterfuck. This is something I wouldn't say is, if this has to keep it up like this, it's not going to really be very interesting, because people really do like to see things showcased. Of course, Anna Kustera could have lent her space for the 2 weeks the show was up, but no, she didn't, and so this is why there was only 125 square feet. But maybe next time, because he didn't do anything specifically threatening to any of the women. It's very, very typical and clumped together, like a storage space full of just some hoarder's junk, which is fine. Anyway, that's what I think.